Welcome, dear listeners. I'm Jonathan Carlin.
And I'm Benjamin Carlin.
And we invite you to join us through the Griffin door, your one-way ticket to the enchanting world of Harry Potter. So grab your wands and dust off your broomsticks and join us as we unlock the riddles inside Goblet of Fire, Chapter 20, The First Task at Long Last.
Holy cow. I cannot believe that we are holding the book sideways here. Just nearing halfway through the book, and we have made it to November 24th.
November 24th.
Yeah, when we started this particular saga on circa day August 15th?
Something like that, yeah. Yeah, 2 weeks after Harry's birthday.
Yeah. So
just 3 months in.
It has been, and I can't believe how much, because when I think, and I say all the time that Goblet of Fire is one of my favorite books. And when I think about it, I think about the Triwizard Tournament. I think about fighting dragons and being in the lake and being in the maze and the graveyard and all that.
Right.
And all of my favorite parts of the book are still yet to come.
Yeah. All the rest of the book is pretty action packed, really.
Yes. We're really about to see things ramp up like crazy. But as we sort of alluded to in last week's chapter 20, I think is really fascinating from a chapter art perspective and a chapter title naming convention perspective, because there's no doubt about it that there's an objective here to have there be the first task, the unexpected task, the second task, and the third task all be chapter titles. And because of that, chapter 19 is the one that is titled The Hungarian Horntail.
Right.
Which ultimately ends up being its own brand of spoiler for what we're about to see here in chapter 20, where Harry is going to face the Hungarian Horntail. But for whatever reason, the chapter art for the first task is the moment when Harry summons a dictionary from Hermione's hands.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like a goofy, it's not even like a hand confidently having just captured a book that is depicted as having had a whoosh motion.
Right.
It almost looks more like somebody is taking two hands, taking a book and throwing it into a river or something.
Yeah.
Do you see what I see?
I see what you see. This is a bottom one chapter art as far as I'm concerned. This is, of all of the ones we reviewed, this I think is the worst chapter art so far.
It may be and I think I don't even think I'd be that upset about it. If it weren't for the fact that this is such a fun chapter.
It's such, that's absolutely part of it, Ben. This is the first task of the Triwizard Tournament. Here are a whole list of alternate things the first task chapter art could have been. One, and most obviously, a dragon. Two, and most obviously, this same picture, but with the firebolt.
Yes.
Instead. 3, Harry standing in the arena with his wand held high, casting the spell. 4, the broom. 5, the other 3, all 4 champions looking nervous.
Yes.
6, Ron.
Ron, yeah. Or maybe even 7, the little velvet bag that they pull the little statues out of.
A dragon in someone's hand.
Yes.
Great chapter artwork.
So phenomenal. I always, and this is one of those, I feel like I should have my Harry Potter card taken away from me. Mary Grand Prix. Is the illustrator for all of these chapter arts. And it's I want to reach out to her, and this feels like a great tattoo idea. Reach out to her and say, would you be willing to redo the chapter art for the first task?
Yeah.
And whatever you do, I will get tattooed on my person.
Wow. Wow. That would be such a good one.
Right? Well,
we're gonna have to reach out to this woman here.
I know. Is this there's an accent over the E, but I don't know.
Mary Grand Prix.
Grand Prix. I'm not where
I don't know.
I'm not sure where she hails from. So what the pronunciation guide would be there for her name. But yes, honestly, and the thing is that Truly stupendous work. Actually, if you look at the very first title page here, there is a fantastic depiction of the chest, the bejeweled chest.
Yes, the bejeweled chest that the goblet rests in.
Yes, that even, I mean, obviously they put it right there on the title page, so they are proudly displaying it. But whoever looks at this page,
yeah,
like such an overlooked one.
Well, that's one on the Prisoner of Azkaban. The title page artwork has got like has Scabbers like sitting on the windowsill looking up at Sirius.
Oh.
And it's like, oh man, the fact that the rat is going to be important if you stare at this image is a little more obvious.
Yeah. So anyway, I just for what it's worth, for whoever ends up getting chapter 20, the first task for me, I did do a small doodle here of a dragon chasing Harry while he's on his firebolt.
I love it. You should get that tattooed on you.
You think so?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Here's what I wrote. Terrible. Okay. Bottom one. No dragon. No broom.
Yeah, I said, I drew an arrow off the book and said, why? And then I said, upsetting, if not also disappointing. Yeah. 0 out of 10 artwork. He fights a dragon underlined. And then on top of the book, it says, not a dragon or a broomstick.
Yeah. So as you can tell, we're not fans of this particular. I'm not, which is not to say that the drawing isn't good art. It is just a ridiculous choice to be the representation of this chapter.
All I can think is that we've already got like the firebolt is a chapter from Prisoner of Azkaban, and the artwork is a picture of the firebolt.
Right.
So it's like it's difficult to do that because we've technically already seen it in the very last book.
Yeah.
Norbert the Norwegian Ridgeback, I think, is a chapter title and depicts like Norbert as like a little baby dragon.
A little baby dragon.
So like maybe if you were to have like a hand holding like a little dragon, then that would be like a little bit too similar to the Norbert.
Maybe, and I guess you had dragons as the chapter artwork just like what, last chapter?
That's the thing though, is that like...
But like who cares?
What they should... I mean... Who cares?
Who cares?
Also, I think they should have just not named Chapter 19 the Hungarian Horntail and just like named it anything else.
Right. It could have just been like Hagrid's Secret or something.
Hagrid's Secret sounds perfect.
Right?
Although, is that not like a chapter that comes up later? Is there something? Read a Skeeter Scoop. Maybe
there's like Hagrid's Tale, I suppose. Yeah, later up. Okay. Doesn't have to be Hagrid's Secret. It could be Hagrid's Tip, you know?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Hagrid's Date. Whatever. That would be great too. That's what happens.
Right. Yeah. So,
or it could have been more about Sirius and the fire.
But yeah,
you know,
the fire. The midnight meeting.
Yeah, the midnight meeting. Right.
I don't hate
that.
There
you go.
Yeah.
It's like the midnight. I was going to say Sirius Returns, but Padfoot Returns is indeed a chapter title later in this book.
Maybe what we're discovering as we're having this conversation is the problem that Mary, the illustrator, had.
Yeah.
While doing this exact thing. It's like, wait a second, we've written ourselves into a corner, but that's okay because it is a good chapter otherwise. So,
it is a good chapter,
and I feel like we're being highly critical, but we're also for full clarity just having fun.
We are. But anyway, speaking of having fun, should we read the first sentence?
Yes, indeed. Let's do it.
All right, ready? Harry got up on Sunday morning and dressed so inattentively that it was a while before he realized he was trying to pull his hat onto his foot instead of his sock. And then the dragons arrived. Which is pretty much what happens. Yes. Pull his hat onto his foot instead of his sock. Yeah.
You know, it's funny that he's putting a hat on because it doesn't seem like he is frequently depicted with a hat.
He doesn't seem like he's frequently depicted with a hat. I don't think it's mentioned that he is wearing it into the arena.
No, I don't think it is. But that's okay. When he finally got all of his clothes on the right parts of his body, he hurried off to find Hermione. The first half of that sentence there, I was like, relatable. Yeah. It's like, you know how often it is when you come downstairs and you're like, oh man, I'm wearing my pants on my arms. Not again.
But he figures it out. Got to look for Hermione, of course, his one true love.
Yeah, I wrote a little like,
oh, I know. But of course, she's down eating with Ginny. And do you know what she's eating, Ben?
Porridge.
Because the Gryffindors love boring food. Oh man. And he's just sort of like, yeah, put your porch down. I have things to tell you. Important things. I love it. It's a drag drawn to the ground. Yeah, that's great. Come on, we're going.
Yes.
See you, Ginny. Yeah.
Future wife.
Yeah.
I love you, but not right now.
Yeah.
So I do think this is kind of funny though, because whenever we are writing our what if series. Like sometimes you need to figure out like how to make the characters be somewhere or do something that gives them the opportunity to like talk or discover a new piece of information or something. And it's so often the case that you don't want to be like reusing the same mechanisms in order to accomplish this feat.
Yeah.
But this chapter is basically starting almost exactly like our last chapter was.
Yeah.
Where like what happens is I think Harry is waking up and then him and Hermione go for a walk around the lake.
Yeah.
You know,
he's like, it's dragons.
Yes.
Well, that's what he's going to tell her now is that it's dragons.
Right. Yeah. I'm trying to go back and look at the first piece.
I think it's after his name comes out of the goblet. It's the next morning.
Where
they walk around and do that.
Maybe you're right. But so anyway, once again, they're getting ready to go walk around the lake so that he can inform Hermione about everything that's going on.
Oh, you know what Hermione brought him that time?
Toast.
Just toast.
Just
regular toast.
Just toast. They fed it to the giant
squid.
Yeah,
exactly.
But I have to bring something up because apparently I made a snafu of sorts. Ish. So, okay. When we were talking about how the giant squid can't digest bread, it reminded me of a piece where I talked about how Hedwig was possibly like a vegetarian owl and couldn't or like wouldn't eat the bacon. And what I was misremembering, so I don't think owls are vegetarians in general, but and that certainly wasn't the only time that Hedwig ever ate meat at any point in time.
Yeah.
But I did go back and I found the interview with the author where she had previously brought up this particular detail, and it says this: I had made a few elementary mistakes when it came to my depiction of Hedwig. Firstly, snow owls are diurnal. They fly by day. Secondly, they are virtually mute. So Hedwig's frequent hoots and chirrups of approval and comfort should be taken as signs of her magically enhanced abilities. Thirdly, as countless well-meaning owl lovers and experts kept writing me in the early days, owls do not eat bacon.
So there you go.
So this is the detail that I was remembering, and then I was going like then I was like on my own little like witch hunt here to be like, okay, what is going on? Why did I think that this was the case? And so what I further found was additional information that was basically suggesting that you're not supposed to feed owls prepared foods at all. So like if you were to discover an owl, like it'd be better to feed them like raw meat than to feed them like a prepared piece of something.
Right.
And I couldn't find a specific conclusion as to why that was the case or if it would like interrupt their hunting behaviors or something. But apparently a lot of people had written in and they were like, Ben, snowy owls totally eat meat.
They totally meat. So I think Hedwig even like returns with a frog earlier in this book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
but anyway, now we've gotten to the bottom of that.
Right. We'll get to the bottom of something else, but I'll wait till we get there.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, so there was toast in the last chapter. Now it sounds like maybe they're just going out there empty-handed.
Yeah, but on a belly full of porridge. And then I love how it says like Hermione still thought dragons were the more pressing problem, even that it says alarmed as she was by Sirius's warnings about Karkaroff, Hermione still thought the dragons were the more pressing problem. To which I was like, yeah, if only Sirius had felt that way.
I know.
Yeah.
I was like, it is hilarious to me that this has to be clarified.
Yeah,
like I don't know if you've ever like read over somebody's shoulder while they're like reading a novel just to sort of like see if you can figure out the context.
Yeah,
but like if you were sitting on like a plane next to somebody and you look over to be like, what are you reading about? And it said Hermione still thought that the dragons were more pressing problem. It would be like, yeah, no duh. Like, I don't know who this Karkaroff lad is, but dragons are probably always a bigger problem. Especially because like even from Sirius's point of view, he's like, no, listen, Karkaroff might have put your name in the fire to kill you. And it's like, yes, but what he's trying to kill me with then is the dragons. So let's solve that first because it doesn't really matter who did it at this point. The dragon's the one's going to kill me.
Yes. If you're worried that he did it to kill me, then the dragons are how he's planning to kill me.
Right. Yeah, you see the problem.
Your own logic doesn't feed itself here. So let's what was that spell you were going to tell me before Ron showed up? Okay, yeah. Anyway, no, you're right. Karkaroff. It's not even him. Gosh.
Yeah.
Jeez. Yeah. So anyway, they get cracking on how they're going to subdue a dragon. But apparently they cannot find anything in the library that isn't for people who want to raise dragons, like talon clipping by charms or treating scale rot, which to me, it's like, why on earth are there even books like this in the library about taking care of dragons when owning dragons is illegal?
I was thinking the exact same thing. I literally wrote, like, I swear this library is so rarely like has useful information. Like the fact that they could never find any reference of Nicholas Flamel at any point in time shy of this like one obscure like thing.
Yeah.
It's sort of like, this is a fairly prominent person. He achieved like borderline immortality.
Yeah.
Like singularly did this thing. Like that makes for a rather famous person.
It
you
does.
know, one way or another, it's like you don't need to go through millions and millions of books. And the same thing is also going to be true about gillyweed later, where they're going to be like, I couldn't find one thing that would explain how you could breathe underwater. And it's
my gosh. Yeah, they couldn't find gillyweed or the bubblehead charm, which is ridiculous because Floor and Cedric are going to find. And what's even worse about that one is they literally ask Madame Pince for help. And she can't help them. And it's like, what do you mean? What do you mean?
She's like, you know what? Maybe what she's doing is she's playing favorites. What I'm hearing is that Madame Pince used to be a Hufflepuff. And she's like, no, all those books have been checked out.
What do you know? Oh, well.
I just did a Kubrick stare at the camera, which most people probably didn't see because it's a sort of audio based platform. But if you're watching and you saw it,
you know,
then you know.
Yeah.
Anyway, but yeah, so this is no good. This is for nutters like Hagrid who want to keep them healthy.
You know what's funny is that there's like a little bits of information from these two things that he could combine. So it says, the next thing he reads is says, dragons are extremely difficult to slay owing to ancient magic that imbues their thick hides, which none but the most powerful spells can penetrate, ... And then Hermione's like, nah, but Sirius said a simple one would do it. Next book. And I'm like, maybe finish just that paragraph though.
Oh, I know.
Like,
yeah.
Get to the bottom of that paragraph.
Yes. I literally added ... such as.
Yes.
Like, you know, it's like, I know we're looking for something simple, but why don't we go ahead and figure out what's complicated and work backwards from there?
Exactly. Like, simple would be great, but you might need to resort to complicated.
Exactly.
But also it says like their thick hides are hard to penetrate. But like one sentence before it was talon clipping by charms. It's like, right. So the talons can be hurt.
Yes.
Right?
Okay. It's like, why don't we consider that for a second? It's like, okay, talon clipping. It's like, surely this is more for dragon maintenance, but what happens if I just clip all of its talons and then it no longer has talons?
That's one problem solved.
It's one of
feels
of
like it'd probably work on their teeth.
Yeah, it very well could. It very well could. And then not to mention, it's going to go down another line here. It says, well, there are switching spells, and literally just like a couple of chapters ago, McGonagall is chastising Dean Thomas for not even being able to perform a simple switching spell.
Yeah.
No, Neville. I'm sorry, it's Neville.
Yeah.
Please don't let anybody from Durmstrang know that you can't even perform a simple switching spell.
Yeah.
Which means it's simple.
And then Hermione's like, well, the switching spell, but what's the point of switching it? Unless you swapped its fangs for wine gums or something to make it less dangerous. And it's like, yes. Why wouldn't you just try that? That does seem like a really good idea.
So far, what we've been capable of doing is getting rid of its sharp talons and making its sharp teeth go away. I feel like
we're on to a good start.
I don't want to say we're quite batting 1,000, but I mean, we're getting there.
You just turned half the dragon into candy is what I'm hearing.
That's exactly it. Yeah. Wine gums, for those American listeners who don't know, are similar to like our version of like dots.
Yeah.
Or like a gumdrop. But without
something like that.
Without like the sugar coating.
No sugar coating. Yeah. And I guess they're like sort of wine flavored. Maybe they're shaped like wine and they have like wine words on them.
Ooh, yeah. I remember that. So after I think we talked about this on Jay versus Ben back in like 2018, and then we were sent more than one care package with some wine gums.
Which we greatly enjoyed.
they were consumed.
Wink. When I was actually last time earlier this year when we were in Epcot in like the UK section, I was going through one of the shops and they had wine gums and I was like, "What jackpot?
get some of these
Getting
for sure."
Some of these, and I did, and I enjoyed them. They were good.
Let's see here though. I'd say transfigure it, but something that big, you really haven't got hope. I doubt even Professor McGonagall, unless you're supposed to put the spell on yourself. And let's see here. So, transfiguration will end up being the tactic of somebody in the arena. So Cedric ends up transfiguring a rock into a dog.
Right. He will transfigure a rock into a dog. And then in the second task, Crumb will transfigure himself.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
So he will put a spell on himself.
Right. Yes, indeed. But not before Hermione puts one on him.
Oh, sounds like she already has.
But they're not simple spells. I mean, we haven't done any of those in class. I only know about them because I've been doing OWL practice papers.
Hermione.
Yeah, I think this is an instance where I think Jim Dale's version of Harry sounds more angry than it should. But you're right. Like, I mean, it says through gritted teeth, but Jim Dale will deliver it exactly like you just said, Hermione. Will you please shut up for a bit, please? Please. I said please twice.
Yeah.
I'm trying to concentrate.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't think Harry's that mad.
He's not that mad.
He's not that bad. He's just like a little frustrated.
Yes. But and then like she does quiet down, but like it doesn't help. It's just like once she stopped talking, his head filled with the blank sort of bugging, which didn't seem to allow room for concentration. To I highlighted, I was like, oh, it's like having kids. It's just like, yeah. It's like, well, everyone just please be quiet. Now I can't even remember what I was doing. Gosh. Never mind.
How just relatable.
Leave me alone. Drink a coffee.
Right. Then Harry staring hopelessly down at the index for basic hexes for the busy and vexed.
This book baffles me.
What do you mean?
Okay. Basic hexes for the busy and vexed. Okay. All right. Let me see if I got this straight. Well, the first one, instant scalping. Why is that? Why does that help you if you're busy?
Or vexed.
Or vexed. Doesn't make sense to me. Why is that basic? Next up, pepper breath. Okay, sure. Horn tongue. How is horn tongue a basic hex for the busy and vexed? Oh. How is that helping you do anything ever?
All right,
how is horn tongue good?
I'm walking you right on through this logic. I got it, no problem whatsoever. So vexed. I'm going to really emphasize the vexed nature.
This book is leaning hard on vexed.
It is. Yeah. So instant scalping. So it's like when you're trying to woo somebody. Hair gone, all of it. You don't need it anymore. You're good. You're good. Have you ever heard of like peppermint mint spray? You know, like
right.
Yeah, you know, or like a simple mint or maybe some gum.
Yeah.
No, sir. Pepper breath.
Pepper breath.
Which I'm imagining to be black pepper. I don't know if that's correct or not, but it's like it'd be like if I came up to you, I was like,
would you just like to create the sensation of you just ate a hot pepper without doing it?
Right. Yes. I have you solved.
I got
Last and certainly not least, if it's a first date. Horn tongue.
Yeah.
That'll get them with your breath and newly shiny dome.
I do feel like if you just continued down this particular line, he might have found something useful. Like he only looks at 3 spells, like, and they're all comically bad.
Yes.
But it does seem like maybe keep reading the hexes in here. Something's got to be useful.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh man, I hope I just made somebody spit take. I hope somebody out there was like sipping their coffee and they were like,
yeah. What did he say?
Pepper breath?
Pepper breath? Yeah. Sounds like you need some pepper breath there.
Yeah.
I'd probably just give it more. Yeah. So I don't understand what the purpose of this book is, though, and why anyone would ever want horn tongue outside of a first date situation.
Exactly. Let's see here. So then Crumb shows up once again, which makes Hermione just incredibly annoyed.
Yeah.
And she's like, his fan club will be here in a moment, twittering away. And sure enough, as they left the library, a gang of girls tiptoed past them. One of them was wearing a Bulgaria scarf tied around her waist.
Wow.
And all I can picture is a pirate.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure that Jack Sparrow has like a kind of reddish colored scarf.
Right, like sort of like a sash belt thing.
Like a sash belt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That sounds about right. I remember some girls in high school would wear like a necktie around their waist as like a belt sometimes.
Oh.
I'm imagining that sort of statement going on here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So it could be stylish.
Could be, I guess.
All right.
Or maybe I'm also sort of picturing this girl like tying it around her waist in the same way like you tie your sweatshirt around your waist.
Well,
you know, you just sort of like cross the arms and you're like, I look cool.
I'm that was part of my curiosity here is like, is there a world where she is like wearing the scarf incorrectly, or is it just like
what do you even do with these things?
Right. Yeah. Like, I mean, not for nothing. Not that I'm that stuck on where the scarf is tied or anything like that. But I mean, scarves, if I'm not mistaken, typically just worn around the neck.
Around the neck.
Right. Yeah. So, I mean, like, why emphasize that it's tied around her waist?
I think she's just supposed to be like, ooh, what a fashiony thing I did.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, good for you. Anyway, now as we move forward, what happens next?
There's a really great thought here that I love, and it was like where he considers like he's just gonna like leave the castle, but as he looked around the Great Hall at breakfast time and thought about what leaving the castle would mean, he knew he couldn't do it. Somehow the knowledge that he would rather be here facing a dragon than back on Privet Drive with Dudley was good to know, which I feel like one is just so endearing. And two, it feels like this is like a really good, like, it feels like a genuinely solid coping mechanism he's developing.
I mean, he's practicing gratitude.
Yeah.
You know, like, I mean, this is exactly, I mean, he is actively being like, what am I grateful for? You know what? It's like, even with the dragon, I'd rather be here than back with the Dursleys.
Right.
Which, one, I think is also sort of like a sheer testament to how bad life was at the Dursleys.
Yeah.
That he'd rather be like days away from facing a literal dragon.
Right. Than living there.
Than just living there.
Yeah.
At all.
Right.
Yeah, but no, I think it's good. But it does say that he knew he couldn't do it as a line, and it is because like Hogwarts is the only place where he had ever been happy. This is again like one of those things that like he will later reflect as like a similarity between him and Tom Riddle, which is kind of interesting. But the other piece of it about not being able to do it is like the same thing that we've kind of, talked to death at this point in time, but like the goblet would force him.
The goblet will just kill you if you do that. So
it's like there's that magically binding contract.
Empty threat, Karkaroff.
Yes.
Yeah, actually, that's what I wrote down. Also, you would die.
Yeah, exactly. Let's see here. So then the other thing that Harry that's weighing on his mind is he looks across the room. He sees Cedric, who still doesn't know about the dragons, and he's the only champion who doesn't, as long as Harry is correct in his assumption that Madame Maxine and Karkaroff would have told Fleur and Crumb.
Which they did.
Which they definitely did.
Yep.
This is the moment where Harry is just sort of like, you know what? Like, fair needs to be fair. And so he's looking for a way to pull Cedric aside to let him know what is kind of like pending down the pipe for him here in the next couple of days. Unfortunately, though, Cedric is hanging out with a bunch of friends who have been quoting Rita Skeeter's article at Harry every time they went near him, to which I was kind of like, Cedric, you might need some new friends.
I know. I was like, what? Excuse me? 6th year Hufflepuffs are doing this to Harry?
It's like what would Helga Hufflepuff just rolled over in her grave?
I know. I'm like, are you kidding me right now? The Hufflepuffs are doing this and they're like bullying a younger student over it?
It seems so out of character, especially when the younger student is Harry Potter.
I know.
Like, he's been through so much.
I know, especially when Cedric, cannot possibly approve of such things.
No, that's the thing. It's like, it is shocking to me. I'm like, I can't imagine that like Cedric, who after having just beat Harry in Quidditch was immediately like, yo, we need a rematch. That wasn't fair.
I know.
Like, I can't imagine him being like, yeah, guys, make fun of the younger kid whose name unexpectedly came out of the goblet.
Exactly.
Anyway, though, Harry has a plan. He kind of goes all like Mission Impossible a little bit here. I sort of imagine, it says, pausing at a distance from them, he pulled out his wand and took careful aim. And I don't know about you, but like I'm imagining like he's almost like staring down like the barrel of the wand.
Yeah.
Sort of like, okay, I got this. He casts Defendo, which is always, it's a good piece of trivia because it doesn't sound like what it means. Like Defendo to me sounds like a shield spell, like a shield charm.
Yeah, like defend.
Yes, defend. Like it seems like it's like right there, but I did look up the Latin and it means literally to split in two.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. So it's probably closer to some version of divide. Anyway, that causes Cedric's bag to tear open and all of his stuff falls out onto the floor. Several bottles of ink smashed. And Cedric is like, don't bother. Tell Flitwick I'm coming. Go on.
Speaking of reusing like a problem for Harry to reusing the same tactic over and over for the character is having Harry need to someone who walks around in a group.
Oh, yes.
Right? He's like, I can't do it. Impossible.
I can't go talk to Cho.
People in groups are unassailable. You cannot. What am I supposed to do? Just say, hey, Cho, or hey, Cedric. Sure.
May I speak to you, please, now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, what a very Cho Chang move by Cedric to just be walking around with a group of friends.
Exactly.
And very unavailable.
They have so much
in common. Also, this is a pretty good shot by Harry. This is a long distance down the corridor.
Yeah.
Hits him. Do you think he's aiming for the bag?
You think he was trying to make him rip his pants?
I'm just saying. It's a brand new bag. I think even Harry would be like, well, I don't want to rip that bag. It's a nice bag.
That's quite a nice bag.
But you know what would make someone stop? Rip the pants.
Rip their pants.
This is gonna be hilarious. Watch this, Cedric. Oh my God! Hold on, guys. I'll catch you up. Which, by the way, is how Harry says he's gonna catch up to Hermione. This must be like a British thing to say. Like, Harry, you'll be late. The bell's about to ring. He says, "I'll catch you up." Okay. Yeah. Like, to me, that makes it sound like he's gonna fill her in. What he's saying is, I'll catch up to you.
Yes, indeed. But anyway, so then Harry runs over to Cedric, who is picking up his guide to advanced transfiguration, which I think is it's a neat little setup there because it is actually going to probably be the piece of text that Cedric uses
I know.
to prepare for the
I'm
dragon.
imagining how this conversation goes, and Harry's like, "It's dragons," and he's like, "What am I going to do? I've got it."
Yeah, he just looks down.
Yeah. Looks down.
Cedric, said Harry, the first task is dragons. Like, Harry really doesn't mix words over this. He's just straight to the point.
Well, he's not like serious, you know.
That's exactly right. It's like, there's a simple thing we're up against, but not now.
Cedric, I have to tell you something.
Cock
The
her
first task, it's unbelievably dangerous. I may as well have set it up myself. It's so bad. What is it, Harry?
Not now, man. Not now. There's other stuff.
But first, cock her off. Can we trust him?
Is that a Batman reference?
That was Batman.
I love it. Anyway, so Harry clarifies they've got 4, one for each of us, and we've got to get past them. Cedric stared at him. Harry saw some of the panic that he'd been feeling since Saturday night flickering in Cedric's gray eyes. Are you sure? Cedric said in a hushed voice. Dead sure. And to which I was like, wow, Harry. Too soon.
Just about. I'm sure I'm dead. Cedric, I'd bet money that you would die in this tournament over the fact that there are dragons coming up.
Oh, man. There ends up being like this very quick, like, oh, crap, I can't rat Hagrid out situation going on inside of Harry's mind, where Cedric is, of course, like, how did you find out?
Yeah.
And Harry's like, never mind that.
Never mind. Yeah. Then it says Cedric straightened up, his arms full of inky quills, parchment, and books, his ripped bed dangling off one shoulder. And I'm like, yeah, not so cool now, are you?
Seriously.
I'm just imagining him like, what's just like an armload of just like, what? Huh? Dragons? Oh, bother.
Yeah, Harry's just like, where'd your friends just go? If they could see you now.
Did they get you? Did you get you now? Also, so sorry about this. I meant to rip your pants, but honestly, this worked out pretty good.
This worked out pretty good.
Yeah.
You are now covered in ink.
Yeah.
Why are you telling me? He asked. Harry looked at him in disbelief. He was sure Cedric wouldn't have asked that if he had seen the dragons himself, which I think Harry is dead on the money.
Yeah.
Cedric absolutely would have also told him. Let's see here. Harry wouldn't have wanted worse enemy to face those monsters unprepared. Well, perhaps Malfoy or Snape.
Yeah. I think it's funny that those are the names that come to his mind first, not like Voldemort.
Yeah. It's like Harry on some level, it's like he is, and that's part of it. I think that's part of the divide that is happening in the saga so far, or even Peter for that matter.
Yeah.
You know, it's like Harry is still like the kind of innocent student up until the very end of Goblet. And that will officially be the line where he no longer gets his innocence.
Luxury of Snape and Malfoy being his biggest problems.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So then I do think Harry says something that is very Cedric-like. He says, it's just fair, isn't it? We all know now. We're on even footing, aren't we? At this exact moment, Mad-Eye Moody emerges from a nearby classroom where he's been totally eavesdropping.
Totes.
Come with me, Potter, he growled. Degree, off you go.
Yeah, I don't have helpful things for you.
Yeah. Harry stared apprehensively at Moody. Had he overheard them? Yes.
Yes, absolutely he has. Then he comes in and says, that was a very decent thing you just did, Potter. Which I think is very like clever work on Barty Crouch Jr.'s part, because he's like, at first he's like, let me just win you over first.
Yes.
Yeah. Flattery up front.
Right. Although it is very interesting as well, because like I think it's everything that Barty Crouch Jr. says always has layers to it. And very, very later on in the series when he's actually like, you know, monologuing under Veritaserum. No, it's not even under Veritaserum. It's just when he's monologuing. He's just doing like his villain's recap of how he won the day or whatever. He's going to say that decent people are so easy to manipulate.
Yeah.
And so it's like, I think on some very small level, what he's saying right here to you, the reader, you know, once you know the full context is you're very easy to manipulate, Potter.
Right.
Like, because you're a decent person.
Exactly. It's also just sort of like, it's interesting almost that he's like, that was a decent thing you just did, because Barty Crouch Jr. is not a very decent person himself, almost at all.
Yeah.
But like, it's so weird to like, just like, to try and put yourself in that kind of mindset. Not that you'd really want to, but like, he can recognize that something was decent.
True.
You know?
Yes.
It's like, he knows it was decent, which means which just means he actively chooses to be indecent.
Right.
You know?
Right. Yes.
Which is like, it's like the kind of hard thing to wrap your head around, because a lot of times it's like villains feel justified, but this is just like, I'm bad because I'm bad.
Right. Yeah. It's like on some level, if you wanted to provide any solace towards Voldemort whatsoever, it's like he is incapable of love. It's not like he's capable and chooses not to. He can't.
He can't.
You know, so there's that.
There is that.
Barty Crouch Jr. apparently can be nice. He just chooses not to.
Just chooses not to. Well, we know he can be, because he appears nice most of the year.
This is true. This is true. Yep.
And then we get a quick recap of the other professors who've had this office. We find out that in Professor Lockhart's day, the walls have been plastered with beaming, winking pictures of Professor Lockhart himself. When Lupin had lived here, to which I was like, "Oh, you remember Lupin? Okay, that's interesting. That's interesting."
It's strange, because earlier in this book, it seemed like maybe you completely forgot about the man who taught you how to perform Patronus. But
maybe you forgot a lot about that guy.
Yeah.
I mean, I wrote next to that. How about right to Lupin if you need help with dragons?
Yes. Yes, exactly. Yeah. It literally even says that when Lupin had lived here, you're most likely to come across a specimen of some fascinating new dark creature that he had procured for them to study in class. It's like, if only I could think of an adult, kind of like a grown-up that I could ask advice to about dark and dangerous creatures. Is there anyone at all? No, there isn't.
Can't do it.
Yeah,
Don't know of anyone. Anyway, this office looks different.
Yeah, it does indeed. The office is now full of a number of exceptionally odd objects that Harry supposed Moody had used in his days when he had been in Auror. It is kind of interesting to me. Like, I used to do this when I was in college, where like it didn't matter how only 9 months I was going to live somewhere. I moved in as if I was going to be there for like the rest of my life.
Forever.
Yeah, it was like I bought furniture. I was buying things based on like my wall sizes. I was putting holes everywhere, mounting stuff.
Yeah.
And I was like, it was important to like, put a piece of myself in here.
Security deposit, never heard of it.
Never heard of it.
Yeah,
I
9 months from now, basically forever.
Probably won't get that back.
Not going to get that back anyway.
But yeah, here's Moody doing this exact same thing. He's like, it's like, I got to really play the part. I got to bring all my stuff.
I wonder if like unpacking for wizards is just such an easier thing, because they can just be like, and magic and done.
I mean, if Lupin packing up his office at the end of Prisoner of Azkaban, the movie, is any indication, that's sort of what happens. He like waves his wand, and his shoes sort of just like scoot right up there back into his
very
little,
Mary
his
Poppins
little case.
style.
Yeah. Yes. Exactly.
Yes. But what's so interesting there is the rundown of the different dark detectors that Moody has. Like my dark detectors, do you? So he talks about his secrecy sensor vibrates when it detects concealment and lies. No use here, of course. Too much interference. So he had to like disable it or whatever. Or it says been humming ever since I got here. Just basically covering himself. It's humming because of you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. That's exactly what's going on. And I think he does the same thing with the sneakoscope. But like, it is very interesting, because the description that he gives actually fits with how we know that like poltergeists come to exist. Like the students in every direction lying about why they haven't done their homework, like been humming ever since I got here. It's like, it had to disable my sneakoscope because it wouldn't stop whistling, which is also kind of hilarious, because like, in the last book, Harry had this exact same problem with the sneakoscope, where it would not stop going off.
Right.
And like in that one, Ron sort of like adds this like little like claim in there that like Bill says they're just like cheap toys sold to tourists.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, okay, well, maybe sneakoscopes just don't work that well, because it's like it always seems to be going off, but it was always going off because of Peter. And now we have a similar situation where it's like the sneakoscope won't stop going off because of Moody himself. But once again, it's almost like maybe sneakoscopes just aren't that reliable.
Maybe, yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's too, very specific situations, not that good. Even though like this reminds you too, like it feels like His is like a professional grade sneakoscope, whereas like the one Harry got was maybe like a gift shop version. Like, yeah, like it kind of works, but like, it's pretty cheap.
Yeah.
This is like, it's like when you buy like a kid like a flashlight at like the register. It's like, I mean, it does light up. Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
Right.
But then you could also get like, like a Surefire 9000.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You can see that from across the lake.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There's like one person out there who's like, you guys know about Surefire
We
flashlights?
know about,
We used to have them. We used to do some caving.
Yeah.
Anyway, then, that's my faux glass. See them out there skulking around. I'm not really in trouble until I can see the whites of their eyes. That's when I open my trunk.
Yeah.
Who do we think they are?
I think in the movie, it's like his dad is one of them. Like,
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, I don't think it ever, I guess later when Harry's in the office, it is Dumbledore, Snape, and McGonagall who are coming up, and
Yes.
the pictures are getting clearer.
So my curiosity and the reason I brought it up was whether or not at this point in time there was any possibility that like Dumbledore was starting to grow suspicious, and maybe not so suspicious that he's like specifically zeroed in on Moody, and like maybe that's why it's like still faint, but I don't really know.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't think he's that suspicious yet. You'd think though that like if Dumbledore counted that like you almost wouldn't want to put the faux glass up, because then when he came into the office, like he would be
Like there.
yeah, there.
Yeah. Like,
Yeah.
Wait a second. Why do I see me in your faux glass?
Yeah, that's not right.
It's like we're on the same team, aren't we? Aren't we?
Aren't we?
You're pulling for Harry too, right?
Right.
Don't tell me you're a said fan.
Yeah, come on now. He's like, what? I don't. Hold on.
That kid is doomed.
Yeah.
Sounds
Even Dumbledore.
even Dumbledore. So
Bagman won't take that bet.
nobody get a drink with me.
Yeah, no, I do. Anyway, drink, Moody? No, just from your own hip flask. Very well.
Anyway, he let out a short, harsh laugh and pointed at the large trunk under the window. It had 7 keyholes in a row. 7, just a little piece of trivia there because it's always 7. Harry wondered what was in there until Moody's next question brought him sharply back to earth. That's such a funny one because it's like, what's in there is the real Mad-Eye Moody.
Real Moody.
Yeah. So it's funny that like Harry even is like mildly transfixed on it, and then kind of gets pulled back into focus.
Yeah.
So then Moody's like, so you found out about the dragons, have you? And then again, Harry's kind of like, I don't know if I'm supposed to tell you. And Moody's like, it's all right. Cheating's a traditional part of the Triwizard Tournament and always has been.
Yeah.
I actually do think that that's probably a little bit true.
Oh, probably. Yeah.
Like
I think so.
Especially just given the way that like Karkaroff and Madame Maxine just immediately participate in the cheating as soon as it's available.
Absolutely. And I mean, if this hasn't been held in 100 years, then 100 years prior, the headmaster would have been Phineas Nigellus Black, and there's no way he wasn't cheating.
Yes.
Yeah.
100%.
Right.
Yeah, you're totally correct.
Yeah.
Yep. Let's see here.
But also, he is the one cheating here. And this is really clever because like we, the audience, never really wonder why Mad-Eye knows that it's dragons. But like he knows because Voldemort tortured Bertha Jorkins. And we just sort of are like, well, of course Moody knows. He's just so good at his job.
Right. But then when you think about the fact that neither Madame Maxine or Karkaroff were supposed to know, it's almost like one of those things where it's like, well, if they aren't supposed to know, because they found out under like, cover of night.
Yeah.
Like if they don't know, how would just somebody else know? You're right. Like that should be more suspicious, but for whatever reason, it doesn't feel that suspicious.
It's like, and like we know he already knows. And like, I guess we saw him talking to Hagrid in 3 Broomsticks, and maybe you're supposed to think Hagrid told him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cause like that's sort of what transpires. And then Charlie told Hagrid because of just like professional interest or whatever.
Right.
But obviously that's not the reason he knows. He knows because they tortured Bertha Jorkins.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yep. But it is funny because it says Moody grinned. I wasn't accusing Laddie. I wasn't accusing you, Laddie. I've been telling Dumbledore from the start. And basically what I think that means is he's been telling Dumbledore from the start, like, you're going to need to give your students an edge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He says Moody grinned. I wasn't accusing you, Laddie. And I was like, well, sort of. But like a little.
Cheating. Yeah. You literally just said cheating is a traditional part.
I didn't cheat. I wasn't accusing you.
It's like, well,
I mean,
I think you were.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's funny because he does go on to say that like they want to beat Dumbledore. They like to prove he's only human. And let's see here. It's like this is also kind of interesting because it makes me wonder a little bit if Dumbledore sort of like his position is like, I'm so good, I'm not going to help my champions and they're going to beat you anyway. Like,
I know, but like, I cannot believe Dumbledore is being this high-minded about Harry in particular in the situation, because Dumbledore is like, from his point of view, he's pretty positive this is Voldemort in some way, shape, or form.
Right.
Right? Like, that much is clear.
And Dumbledore knows Harry is crucial.
Knows Harry is crucial to the prophecy. And maybe he doesn't, I don't know, maybe he doesn't know about the dragons. I feel like he probably does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I think he does.
I think he probably knows.
Yeah.
But it's like you know, like, I can't believe you're not trying to help Harry. Like, maybe you're really just trying to let him like test himself out there, which he does fine with.
Right.
But like at the same rate, it is in particular how important it is for Harry to not die.
Yes. Yeah. It's kind of vital. But yeah, I also think it's kind of interesting as well because we have another like little double meaning situation. But it says,
I suppose Dumbledore could have been the one to tell Sirius to tell Harry though.
Oh,
but no, because Harry tells Sirius about the dragons. But maybe he didn't need to. Maybe he already knew anyway, and he's just like, "Oh, don't worry about that."
Right. Yeah, that could be it. I mean, I think at some point in time, Dumbledore is even going to tell us that that Harry's not the only one communicating with Sirius.
Yeah.
But anyway, so back to Moody here. We get the line that says, they'd like to prove he's only human. Moody gave another harsh laugh and his magical eyes swiveled around so fast it made Harry feel queasy to watch it. I feel like this harsh laugh is because Barty Crouch Jr., is actively tricking Dumbledore.
Right.
So like this harsh laugh is sort of like he is human.
Yeah.
Like I'm doing it.
I'm
right
doing
now.
it. I'm tricking him right now, and we pretty much have plans to kill him. So
right.
Yeah.
Then we get another little like he just said he basically just accused Harry of cheating, and then was like, I wasn't accusing you. And then he's like, so do you have any ideas on how do you get past your dragon? And then Moody's going to be like, I'm not going to tell you. I don't show favoritism, me.
Yeah. Well, I'm not going to tell you, except that I am.
Play to your strengths. I haven't gotten any, said Harry before he could stop himself. Excuse me, growled Moody. You've got strengths if I say you've got them. Think now. What are you best at?
Yeah. So I like this. I like this answer, though, is play to your strengths, because we've talked before about how the dragon in the situation, like a little bit parallels like Voldemort in some way. Like they're both stuck in this prophecy. Harry and the dragon are both stuck in the arena. They are being forced to fight no matter what.
Right.
Like due to magic beyond their control, the Goblet of Fire, the prophecy, whatever.
Yeah.
Like they must fight. And, fake Moody's advice is play to your strengths. But realistic, like when you think about it, this is pretty much the same advice Dumbledore is going to give Harry about beating Voldemort. He's going to say like, but I don't have, powers the Dark Lord knows not or whatever. And he's like, yes, you do. Yeah. He's like, Harry, listen to me. You have powers the Dark Lord doesn't know if I say so. You can love. And he's like, yeah, big deal.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Yep.
But that's what Harry eventually does. He's like, he plays to his strength. He plays to his ability to love,
right.
To choose to die.
Yeah, right. Yes,
yeah.
Yes, exactly. But so yeah, in this particular situation, Harry's able to come up with Quidditch, and Moody is like, that's right. You're a dang good flyer from what I've heard. And then I wrote in a little note here that was like, oh, McGonagall must have been bragging about it.
I know, yeah.
It's like they're like over there in the teacher's lounge, and McGonagall's just like, now that Potter.
He can fly.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah. But also it's like reveals that like Barty Crouch has been doing his research about Harry.
He definitely has.
Yeah.
Yep. And then I think, speaking of that, I think it's going to absolutely be true with this next line. My second piece of general advice, said Moody loudly, interrupting him, is to use a nice, simple spell that will enable you to get what you need.
Yeah.
Do you think he knows about
Sirius?
Sirius and the fire? Because like Harry and Hermione are actively ruling out possibilities that aren't simple.
Right.
And it's like he is specifically using the word simple as like a way to be like a simple spell.
That is interesting because it's not like him and Wormtail and Voldemort all know about Sirius being an animagus and being on the run and like the truth about him.
Yes.
Right.
Because you got Peter basically on the inside of Voldemort's camp who literally just left the encounter with these people.
Right. And you've got Moody it'd be pretty tricky because Moody would have been the one who like helped arrange Harry to even go see the dragons. And he doesn't have the map yet. So it's not like he could be like, why is Potter leaving without Hagrid? Let me go follow him up to the common room or anything. Like you wouldn't necessarily see Sirius's face. But
I mean, later in Order of the Phoenix, it's going to be Umbridge, who's the Defense Against the Dark Arts professor, patrolling the fireplaces and literally like almost reaching in and grabbing at Sirius. So if Moody's doing it from like the same location,
fireplace,
fireplace.
I guess he could have just a fireplace in his office.
Right.
Yeah. That's quite possible. Because I think he must, because doesn't Snape come like fireplacing into Lupin's office?
Well, I mean, we would have to assume that, like, if this was Lockhart's office and Lupin's office, and
Umbridge's office, so it's the fireplace.
It's the
same
fireplace,
obviously. Yes,
right.
Okay, yeah, you're right. So I guess it's not impossible. He could have just been monitoring the fireplace,
right? Yeah, I just think I just thought it was interesting that he like dials in on this like simple spell idea because that's like surefire the way to resonate with Harry.
Yeah. Yes.
So anyway, and not for nothing. He is zeroing in on a simple spell that Harry is actively being taught in his charms class.
Right.
It's literally what Flitwick is teaching right now.
Right now.
Yeah.
Yes. Put them together. It's not that difficult. Like to which like he's saying this and it's like we know he's Barty Crouch Jr. and he's like just telling him the answer and he's like he must think Harry is so dumb.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. But to be fair to Harry though, it clicked right in that moment. He was best at flying. He needed to pass the dragon in the air. For that, he needed this firebolt. And for his firebolt, he needed
Hermione.
Yeah, he does. Hashtag Hermione.
Hashtag Hermione, guys. It's all over this book, guys. I mean, come on.
I wrote hashtag Hermione with a lightning bolt winking face, which is like a smiley face, but I drew a lightning bolt over it to signify Harry.
Exactly.
And then I apologize to whoever gets this page when we send them out.
Oh yeah, well,
I like to send little notes to individual people.
We're coming up on like a new round of sending the pages out.
I know we're not far off.
Yeah. So if you're not an annual patron and you want a page, like there's still time to sign up for like. Well, honestly, it doesn't really matter. I don't know what I'm talking about. You can sign up whenever you want and you'll get a page.
Exactly. Yeah. You just do you on your schedule.
Do it.
It'll be totally fine. Let's see here. So then, so it picks up with Hermione. Hermione, I need you to help me. What do you think I've been trying to do, Harry? She whispered back. Oh, man.
Let's see. What do you think you've been trying to do, Harry? She whispered back, her eyes round with anxiety over the top of a quivering flutterby bush she was pruning. So I looked this up. I was like, what on earth is a flutterby bush? And they are very interesting magically, I suppose, in the wizarding world. They produce flowers once a century that adapts their scent to attract the unwary.
Wow.
I know. Which makes it sound almost sounds like it must be one of the ingredients for like amortentia.
Yeah, totally.
Right?
Man. That would make amortentia extremely difficult to make.
Extremely difficult to make unless it reminds me of like a distillery where they've got like, oh yeah, this is 23-year aged like bourbon or whatever, 23-year-old aged bourbon. And it's like that. Wow, it takes 23 years. It's like you only get this once every 23 years. It's like, well, you get it every year. After the initial 23 years.
Right, because we do it
just start again.
Yeah.
And then you just have like a rolling. So you have a limited stock every year.
So do you think there's like a Flutterby family that literally just has 100 bushes in every year?
They must. There's got to be something like that. Like that would be smart.
I mean, it would be smart, but it would take you 100 years to get there.
I know. So like I want to know if the one that they are working on is like actually has the flowers on it because she's pruning it. But like it's like if I was Professor Sprout, I'd be like, nowhere in like the fourth years near this bush.
I know.
You can come out and watch it bloom. You're not getting anywhere near it.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, this would feel like a very sacred bush all of a sudden. That would be like very, very expensive.
Yeah.
My little detail was a personal anecdote about Flutterby, and I have no idea if this is true or not. But when I was 16, I've been known to do spoonerisms quite a lot, like where you switch the letters around. And Flutterby happens to be a little spoonerism for butterfly.
Butterfly. Yes.
And the fun fact that a girl that I was dating when I was 16 told me is that butterfly is actually a spoonerized version of flutterby, which is what they used to call them. But then people started to adapt the butterfly instead, because what butterflies do is they flutter by.
Oh.
Like it's a perfect description for what butterflies do.
Do you know, when I was researching the flutterby bush, it mentioned this particular spoonerism and debunked that.
Oh, okay, great. Okay,
Yes.
well, there you go.
Yeah.
And that was the thing I was going to say. It's like, this was, I mean, when I was 16, so almost 20 full years ago, and I was like, I remember this conversation because it was like spoonerizing words was something I did all the time. And she was like, fun fact about that one. And I was
Fun
like,
fact.
oh, that's so cool.
The flutterby.
I probably told 100 people since then, but apparently all those people are now misinformed. So I'll have to go start writing some letters.
Well, this was me reading one sentence on Google, so maybe additional research is required.
Take it with a grain of butter.
Take it with a grain of butter.
Yeah.
As
Okay.
they say.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, let's see here. And so they practiced. They didn't have lunch, but headed for a free classroom where Harry tried all of his might to make various objects fly across the room towards him. He was still having problems. The books and quills were losing heart halfway across the room and dropping like stones to the floor.
Not so good.
Not so good.
Not a good start.
He's really struggling.
Yeah.
With the old summoning charm.
Yeah. But and thank goodness Hermione is there, though. Concentrate, Harry. Concentrate. So helpful.
It's like,
oh, good. I wasn't doing that.
Right. Yes. It's like when you're upset and somebody tells you to calm down.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, I know.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like, just don't worry about that. It's like, oh, I haven't tried that.
Yeah.
I haven't tried that. Thank you, Hermione. I know. And then he says, what do you think I'm trying to do? Said Harry angrily, a great big dragon popping up in front of my head for some reason. Okay, try again. And then it says, he wanted to skip divination to keep practicing, but Hermione refused point blank to skive off arithmancy, to which I'm like, seriously? How important is this arithmancy class? Earlier you were like, I feel like dragons is more important than Karkaroff. But now you're like, but, let me finish that. But what do we always say? Arithmancy is more important than dragons. Yes.
So,
okay.
So in order of her concerns right now, she has arithmancy and then dragons and then Karkaroff.
Exactly.
Yeah. So
arithmancy class more important than dragons, which is equivalent to saying more important than Harry's life.
Yes. Yes. Harry the Chosen One Potter.
Harry the Chosen One Potter. Also, she's like, no, I can't skive off arithmancy, and I think you probably need to go to divination, which a class he absolutely refuses to do. And then this sentence makes no sense to me. It says, and there was no point in staying without her. It's like, there was no point? There's no point because what's she doing? Concentrate, Harry, concentrate.
You could probably do that all by yourself.
You could probably do that by yourself. It says he therefore had to endure over an hour. Like you could just skip and practice by yourself, I think.
Or go have a nap.
Yes, but we'll put a pin on that exact thought for like 5 seconds here. He says he therefore had to endure over an hour Professor Trelawney, who spent half the lesson telling everyone that the position of Mars with relation to Saturn at that moment meant that people born in July were in great danger of sudden and violent deaths, which is actually true. He's going to be facing a dragon like tomorrow.
Yep.
So she's right. But then Harry can't help but retort. He says, well, that's good, just as long as it's not drawn out. But then he says he spent the rest of the class trying to attract small objects toward him under the table. So, in fact, when he said one sentence ago, there was no point in staying without Hermione, that wasn't true. Because he just goes and does it anyway in class.
And listen to the way in which he is gaslighting himself. He managed to make a fly zoom straight into his hand, though he wasn't entirely sure that it was his prowess at summoning charms. Perhaps the fly was just stupid.
You know how flies just land on your hand and do exactly what you want them to do?
Yes. The notorious behavior of flies.
Yeah. Yes.
Oh, man.
Meanwhile, he also almost makes Ron laugh, but then he remembers that he hates Harry at the moment and doesn't, which is just like sad. Oh, too bad.
I know. So close. Yep. Then using the invisibility cloak at night to avoid the teachers, they kept practicing until past midnight. They would have stayed longer, but Peeves showed up pretending to think that Harry wanted things thrown at him, which honestly is quite frankly kind of understandable in this particular situation.
It is. So wait, it says they returned to empty classrooms with Hermione using the invisibility cloak to avoid the teachers. What do you mean? Like, define that reason, you guys. Because once you're in the classroom and you have the cloak off, you're not really avoiding the teachers anymore, right? They'll just still come in and see you.
Right. You might also be making a bit of a ruckus.
You might be making a bit of a ruckus. Unless, Ben, what's happening is they're avoiding the teachers by practicing with both of them under the invisibility cloak. You know, they're just like in a classroom under the cloak together, making stuff, summoning stuff. You know what I mean? That's kind of what it says.
Are you suggesting a horned tongue?
You know what else we should try, Harry? Maybe we should try that horned tongue spell. Maybe it would come in handy.
You never know.
Also, there is no part of me that believes if the teachers saw Harry practicing spells past midnight before the first task, they'd be like, Potter, what on earth do you think you're doing?
Right, yes,
you know?
I know. Yeah.
I know you get out of the end of year exams, but do you think you can just stay up all night practicing spells?
No,
I'm
sir.
afraid not.
No,
what
sir.
are you, a school champion? And then they press their badge. Guess who we're rooting for. See ya.
Who is this, Madam Pince?
Yeah, basically.
Oh man. Let's see here. Yep. So Peeves starts chucking chairs across the room. So hopefully that doesn't attract anybody like Filch.
Yeah.
The exact thing that they've been worried about. At 2:00 in the morning, Harry stood near the fireplace, surrounded by heaps of objects: books, quills, several upturned chairs, an old set of gobstones, and Neville's toad Trevor. Which we did mention that after what was it? What was Neville's punishment? He had to take something.
Oh, disemboweling toads.
Disemboweling toads.
Yeah.
Yes, this was another thing we needed to correct ourselves on because horned toads are in fact lizards.
Oh. What?
Apparently.
Trevor's a lizard?
No. Trevor's not a lizard.
Okay.
We were making jokes about how he was disemboweling horned toads. And then we were like,
horned toads are lizards.
Correct.
Okay. I was like, wait a minute. No.
It's like, you don't mean to tell me.
You don't mean to tell me that he said a lizard this whole time because it's like way cooler, man.
It's like, wait a second. I mean, Neville, it's like street cred.
That's like street kid. You got like
my guy.
You think it has a horned tongue?
Who on earth thought we were going to be able to make this joke this many times?
Not me, Ben. Not me.
I wish we were live right now. It would be so fun to be sharing this.
If only. Yeah.
Anyway, it's coming soon.
Soon.
Yeah, let's see here. Well, now we know what to do the next time I can't manage a spell, Harry said, throwing a rune dictionary back to Hermione so that he could try again. Threaten me with a dragon. Right. He raised his wand. Accio Dictionary.
Woo, boy, there it is. The chapter art. Goodness me. The most exciting thing that's going to happen in this chapter.
That's literally the exact note that I wrote. Oh, our chapter art, easily the most exciting moment that's going to happen in this whole chapter.
Yep.
I have an underlined hole.
Yeah. Wow. So he says that next time I need to master a spell, threaten me with a dragon. I was trying to remember, like, does this happen again? Is there another spell like in Gringotts that he like finally successfully suddenly is able to cast even though he's never done it before?
Oh man, like once again, it's the case where it's like
oh, dragon,
threaten me with a dragon.
Yeah,
now I can do it.
Like because they're doing something to like expand the entrance to help the dragon get out.
Yeah, I know, but I can't think of what it is.
I can't either, but I think Hermione just starts doing it, and Harry and Ron are like, I get that, like trying to help. So, so maybe dragons are really like kind of like a. They unlock the spells for Harry.
Right, it's like the keystone.
Exactly.
Okay, very cool. Let's see here. Harry had been focusing so hard on learning the summoning charm that evening that some of his blind panic had left him. Honestly, this does make sense though. Like whenever you're really worried about something, preparing for it. Like I know it sounds super obvious, but like it really does alleviate a lot of stress.
Yeah. Right.
It takes away some of the unknown. You have a plan all of a sudden.
Yeah. There we go.
This blows my mind though. It returned in full measure, however, on the following morning. The atmosphere in the school was one of great tension and excitement. Lessons were to stop at midday, giving all the students time to get down to the dragon's enclosure, though of course they didn't yet know what they would find there. And I am like, okay, so Harry gets to be exempt from end of school exams.
Yes.
But the day of a task, he still is required to attend classes.
I know. Not only can he not stay up late to practice spells and train.
Yes.
But also on the day of, he has to go to History of Magic. I'm like, Harry, just skive off that, man. Divination. I can't believe you're this close to fighting it. And you have a plan to master summoning charms, and you're still going to divination and history of magic.
Yes, no,
easily your worst classes.
Easily.
Easily.
Without doubt.
Like, and you were up till 2 a.m. mastering the spell. Like, 1, maybe just have a lie-in, sleep in a little, get your rest. And then 2, even though you got the hang of it last night, I'd probably give it a few more reps.
Just a few.
Just like a few. You know what I would do? I would try it at greater distance.
Yeah.
I would maybe position my firebolt such that like, even if you do it, it has like a clear path. Put it near the window. Put it near the window.
Put it near the window. Hey, take it outside. Throw it in the woods.
Take it outside. Who's to say?
Who's to say?
Bring it.
Who's to say what's going to help?
Right? Exactly. Maybe you take it down to the Quidditch pitch. Maybe you just leave it outside. Make it easy to get to.
Right. Yeah. He doesn't do that though. He goes to class instead.
He goes to history of magic.
Yeah. Let's see here. So then Professor McGonagall hurries over to him in the Great Hall. Lots of people were watching. Potter, the champions have come down. Let me try that again. Potter, the champions have to come down and look to the grounds now. You have to get ready for the first task.
Nailed it.
Thanks. You want to try?
Yeah, okay. Hold on, let's see. Ready? Potter, the champions have to come down into the grounds now. You have to get ready for your first task.
That was way better.
Oh, thank you.
Why don't we use yours?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll see if Ethan just includes both of them in the finished copy.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Good luck, Harry, Hermione whispered. You'll be fine.
Well,
we'll see. We'll see how things go.
Yeah, said Harry in a voice that was most unlike his own. Actually, on the other page, on the morning of, it says, Harry felt oddly separate from everyone else around him. Whether they were wishing him good luck or hissing, we'll have a box of tissues, Potter, ready as he passed. And I'm like, it says he felt oddly, and I'm like, not that odd.
Not that odd.
Not that odd. Pretty different situation for you.
Yes.
Yeah.
You are experiencing a different day than they are.
Different day.
They are going to witness entertainment. You are going to be the entertainment.
You are going to be the entertainment. Yeah, right. Straight gladiator style.
I was going to say, it reminds me of being like a gladiator. It's like, I wonder if those guys woke up in the morning feeling oddly different from the people coming to watch them.
Yeah. Yes, I know, right? They're like, you know what? I'm not sure about this day. Not so sure about this.
Feels like it could be a dangerful one.
Yeah.
Let's see here. I do really like the fact though that McGonagall, she has these soft spot moments with Harry, and I feel like this is one of them. Now don't panic, she said. Just keep a cool head. We've got wizards standing to control the situation if it gets out of hand. The main thing is just to do your best, and nobody will think any worse of you. Are you all right? It's like, she's really checking on him. She's really
I know. I feel
him.
like she's trying to talk herself into a calm as well. She's like, I just need to keep talking because, oh my God, I know what the problem is dragons. And just like, hey, you're going to be fine, Harry. I feel like she's almost talking to herself like, you're going to be fine.
It's going to be okay. He's going to be okay. He's going to make it. He's going to make it.
Okay, right? Have you considered wine gums? Switching spell. Remember class, Potter. That'll come up handy real quick.
Quick. Yes. Wine gums.
Wine gums, Potter. No, I honestly can't believe she doesn't like throw him some sort of tip here. She's like, and just remember, Potter, the eyes. Wink.
You're right.
And
Harry's just like, what?
What? Why are you winking at me?
don't
Weird.
Don't do that.
Don't wink at me, McGonagall. All right.
Now I'm confused. I'm upset about something else entirely. Oh man. Okay. Let's see here. So yeah, then she takes him to the tent with the other champions. Wait for your turn, Potter. Mr. Bagman is in there. He'll be telling you the procedure. Good luck. Good luck.
Yeah, she is pretty worried. But then they get in here, and then as ever with these like wizarding competitions, things feel so informal.
They do.
They're just like wildly informal for the level of danger about to happen.
Right. Yes. Yeah. And I feel like this was actually kind of emphasized pretty heavily in the movie, where it seems like the cannon keeps like misfiring.
Yeah.
At the start of the task, it's like, whoop, we're supposed to be off.
Yeah.
But yeah, it says Flora Delacour was sitting in a corner on a low wooden stool, but for some reason it doesn't specify how many legs it has.
That's surprising. I can't really picture the scene without that.
Do you feel like it's 3?
I'm almost could be 3, could be 4.
It could be 3, could be 4.
Could be 3, could be 4. Surprised this wasn't the chapter art, frankly.
You know
what I mean?
Yes, just a 4-legged stool.
Just a 4-legged stool. And you're like, what is this? And you're like, that was the stool Flora was sitting on.
Of course,
not Flora sitting on the stool.
Right. Yeah. Yes, just the stool itself, because we don't want to give away that she'll be the one sitting on it.
Yeah.
She didn't look nearly as composed as usual, but rather pale and clammy. Victor Crumb looked even surlier than usual, which Harry supposed was his way of showing nerves. Cedric was pacing up up and down. When Harry entered, Cedric gave him a small smile, which Harry returned, feeling the muscles in his face working rather hard, as though they'd forgotten how to do it.
Why do they always get Harry last? Every time he arrives anywhere, the other three are already there.
I know.
Even at the weighing of the wands is like, yep, everyone's here.
Right.
Great.
And the way in which they're positioned is always relevant to
Always
like how
the
the
same.
scene unfolds.
Right.
Yes.
Exactly.
It's like, what is everybody doing? It's like Crumb definitely looks like uncomfortable and weird and stuff.
Yeah.
Without fail.
Without fail.
Harry,
Always surly.
Goodo, Bagman said happily, looking around at him. Come in, make yourself at home. Bagman looked somehow like a slightly overblown cartoon figure standing amid the pale-faced champions. He was wearing his old wasp robes again.
Why?
Literally what I wrote. I was like, how come?
Well, I know, like, dude.
Like, yeah, this feels like a weird one where like he shows up to work that day and everybody's like, hey, why are you wearing that?
Yeah. It's like,
why not?
why not? Why not? It feels like if like you were watching like a football game on the weekend and you just hear Troy Aikman giving the call and they cut to him in the studio and he's just up there like in his Cowboys jersey.
Yes.
Just like, hey guys.
I'm a Cowboys man.
I'm a Cowboys fan. It's like, you're calling a Cowboys game. It seems a little impartial. Like, I don't know what you're talking about. What's the problem?
Bagman's up there like, go Wasps.
Go Harry, basically. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Let's see here. He says he basically explains that they're going to be offering him each the bag. He held up the sack of purple silk, shook it at them, and then I was going to say I always picture Barty Crouch Jr. or Barty Crouch Sr. rather from the films where he's like, ooh,
Yeah.
It's like, who told you to do that?
I know.
That was a weird acting choice.
I love how at this point he is also like right down to the moment they reach their hand in the bag. He is like keeping the spoiler alive, from which you will each select a small model of the thing you're about to face. It's like they're gonna figure out it's a dragon in like 30 seconds.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yes. He's really saving that suspense.
Yeah.
And I have something else too. Yes. Your task is to collect the golden egg.
Oh yeah, don't forget.
don't forget the entire objective.
Yeah. And I have to tell you something else too. Hold on. What was it? Egg.
I promise it's not an afterthought. It will come up later. You will need it for the rest of the tournament.
Can you imagine if you actually forgot this and he's like, right, there's a dragon for each of you. Anyway, see ya.
What do we
Wait,
do?
but what? But what?
Do we kill it?
Get around it? Do we kill it? I know they're all out there just like flinging rocks at it and stuff. And Bagman's just like, man, they are taking their time getting to that egg.
Wait.
Oh no. Hold on.
Yep. Let's see here. Harry glanced around. Cedric had nodded once to show that he understood Bagman's words and started pacing around the tent again. He looked slightly green. Fleur Delacour and Crumb hadn't reacted at all.
At all. Perhaps I thought they might be sick if they opened their mouths. That was certainly how Harry felt. They at least had volunteered for this. Exactly. That's the thing. Just like at this point, it's much more like just a reminder, everyone. I did not want to be here. In fact, I still really don't.
It would be a good time to bring up the fact that I did not enter my name.
Did not do that. I am going to whoop all your butts, but I did not want to be here.
Right.
Yes.
Anyway, ladies first, Bagman says, offering the bag to Fleur Delacour, who pulls out the well screen with the number 2 around its neck.
Yep.
Fleur showed no sign of surprise, but rather determined resignation.
This should be like so suspicious because her pulling out the well screen should be like revealing to all 4 of them simultaneously that it's dragons.
True.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. And nobody is really going to react at all.
Yeah.
Crumb reaches in next. He pulls out the Scarlet Chinese Fireball, which is the number 3 around its neck, and he didn't even blink. Cedric put his hand at the bag and came out the bluish gray Swedish short snout with the number 1 tied around its neck, which is rather unfortunate for him, having to go first. Although I guess it doesn't really matter at that point in time. It's like, what's coming is coming.
It's not like they have to watch.
True.
Yeah.
Yep. Harry put his own hand into the silk bag and pulled out the Hungarian horntail and the number.
What? Harry got the horntail?
Shocking, I know.
Such bad. I didn't see that coming.
No. That was the perfect reaction. Ambrose plays liar?
Ambrose plays liar? I thought you knew.
I thought you knew. That's a name of the
Shut
winner.
up, Sim.
Sorry. Name of the winner
Sim's
reference.
great. Sorry.
Our bad.
We're going to get sidetracked real fast.
We will. So we won't do that. Okay. Let's see here. Mr. Diggory, you're first. Just go out into the enclosure when you hear the whistle. All right. Now, Harry, could I have a quick word outside? Which does seem weird. Like, this is all further contributing to the idea that obviously Ludo is the one who is super suspicious.
Yes.
And Harry's like, actually, he says,
Yeah, as usual. Also, the way he tells it, Piston, you're first. Just go out into the enclosure and you hear a whistle. Like, that's it. I'll just hear a whistle. Is it everything else is going to be pretty clear? Like, I'll just hear a whistle.
I'll hear a whistle. I'll walk out the tent flap. There will be a dragon.
There will be a dragon.
That's procedure.
That's got it.
And just for clarity, I'm to get the egg.
Yeah. Yeah, right. Anything else you forgot, you'll hear a whistle.
That's it.
That's it. I think, what else do you need to know? Cool.
You'll lose points if you get hit. Also, it will hurt.
Also, it will hurt. Don't die. There's people standing by that we're not going to let you die. I would say some more things.
I would say more things too.
Yeah. It does feel like someone should like walk him out and be like, all right, Cedric, you're going to stand here. Mr. Bagman is going to introduce you. Then the whistle will sound. Then you'll go. Exactly. It's just like, Cedric, just whenever you feel like it, head out there. When you hear the whistle,
what happens from there happens.
Yeah, whatever happens.
But then in the meantime, he's taking Harry outside and being like, got a plan? I don't mind sharing a few pointers if you like them.
Yeah.
You're the underdog here, Harry. Anything I can do to help.
As far as Ludo Bagman knows, Harry just found out. He's like, got a plan?
It's like, I've been thinking about it for 12 seconds.
12 seconds.
Still working on it, but I will get there.
Yes. Nobody would know, Harry, said Bagman, winking at him. And Harry's like, why does everyone keep winking at me? First McGonagall, now you.
This is getting to be ridiculous.
How did I comb my hair this morning?
I gotta remember that.
Gotta remember that.
Next time I see Hermione. Let's see here.
A whistle had blown somewhere. Which, like, Bagman's not even up there.
He goes, good Lord, I've got to run.
I know. Like, he's not introducing the event to the crowd. He hasn't even told the crowd what's going to happen yet.
Exactly.
Cedric is in the arena. What is going on?
Oh, man.
They're like the informality of these tournaments. Like they say they spend months planning. It's like, I don't believe you.
I don't believe
what
you.
What are you guys doing at these meetings?
Right. Yes. Certainly not drinking. We know that much.
Not drinking. Dumbledore's there like, I don't want to drink. I don't want to drink. Calm down, Albus. We're trying to get things planned here. So I'm thinking we go back to the tent. We're like, hey, there's going to be a whistle and a dragon and an egg.
That's enough.
There you go.
Meeting adjourned.
And Dumbledore's like, but I've got some meat. And they're like, we're busy, Dumbledore.
We're all done.
We're all done.
Oh, man.
Poor Dumbledore.
I know.
Yes, but also unfortunate they do not get to watch what's happening. I mean, I guess that would be a little bit unfair, but it seems like Cedric could get to watch the other ones, Like if you went first, you could like turn around and then watch.
It's true.
Right?
It's true. Yeah, you kind of get to take it in.
Yeah.
But I guess I understand why you wouldn't be able to watch, but at least beforehand, because then you would potentially be picking up on like tips or making decisions based on what everybody else is doing.
Exactly.
Let's see here. So Fleur is now starting to get super nervous. She's pacing around the tent as she's awaiting her turn. We're hearing a little bit of the commentary where it's like, ooh, narrow miss there. Very narrow. He's taking risks this one. A clever move. Pity it didn't work.
Yeah. Clever move. Pity it didn't work. And then after 15 minutes, Harry heard a deafening roar that could only mean one thing. Cedric got past the dragon and captured the golden egg. I'm like, it took you 15 minutes to transfigure a dog?
Seriously.
Like, come on, Cedric.
Ron's going to summarize his entire strategy into did a piece of transfiguration magic, turned a rock into a dog. It was supposed to go for the dog, and then it changed its mind halfway through and went for Cedric instead.
Yeah.
It's like
it took you 15 minutes, dude?
It doesn't feel like a 15-minute situation.
But all right, so if we're keeping track, it took Cedric 15 minutes.
Yep. Okay.
Right. And we know he gets hit a little bit.
Yep.
Yeah, because Madame Pomfrey has to mop him up, according to McGonagall.
Right.
According to McGonagall.
You must be the first seeker.
You must be the first seeker to be burned by a dragon in a century.
According to McGonagall.
Which is probably true.
Probably true, yeah. Actually, it is absolutely true. What?
Well, we don't know if it was a seeker. Well, unless it wasn't our theory is that Dumbledore was the seeker for the Gryffindor Quidditch team when he was at Hogwarts a century ago, and that he also competed in the Triwizard Tournament. And maybe there was something that could have burned him. So
maybe there could have been, but the thing that I think is more interesting is that Crumb is also a seeker.
Oh yeah,
who is going to be out there before?
If only
Harry.
He'd gone first.
I know. Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, next up is Fleur Delacour. Harry felt more warmly toward her than he'd ever done so far as she left the tent, her head held high and her head held high and her hand clutching her wand. She winked at Harry. It doesn't say that.
It doesn't say that.
Harry's just like, not you too. My goodness. And then she flashed her horn tongue. Can you imagine?
I truly can't.
Just like Harry's like, boy, that is a different approach.
We read the same book.
We read the same book. You got vexed too, huh?
Yeah.
All right.
Yep.
You going out? Cool. But I do like it says Harry felt more warmly toward her than he'd done so far. Like the shared misery of it all is like, nope, yep. It's like a band of brothers out there.
Yeah. It's kind of like now we're kind of in this together forever, no matter what.
Yeah.
And to be fair, that bond actually will go on to last throughout.
Pretty much. And then, especially after the second task, that's when she like really turns the corner on Harry.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep.
But 10 minutes later, Harry heard the crowd erupt into applause. So Fleur does it 5 minutes faster than Cedric.
Right.
Right?
Yep.
Okay. All right. Very good. We're all good there. And then Mr. Crumb, and here comes Mr. Crumb. Boom. Again, just sort of like, yep, whistle. Here we go. Your turn. No one's back there to be like, you're up next. Come get ready.
Right.
Yeah.
There's a staff of Ludo Bagman, who, let's face it, is not exactly the most organized person we've ever met.
I know. Like Mr. Crouch is he's here at this one.
Right.
He's not even back there.
No, he's not. Yeah.
Not like overseeing the event or anything. As far as we can tell, there's no one else back there.
Right.
Just the four of them.
Yeah. I just can only imagine. I mean, he's under the Imperious Curse now. So it's like, I just imagine he's just sort of like slack-jawed staring off into this.
I know.
into the distance.
Do you think it's also funny to me that Bagman is announcing and giving stores? He's like doing the announcements and then he's like run over to the judges table like, hold on. 9. I guess he doesn't have to move.
I love your breathing.
I'm just imagining him like sprinting across the arena.
This feels like something that would be so funny to include in the series.
It would.
It's just like watching him run. Even if it's not like the main subject of like the scene, you could just see it happening in the background.
Right. He's just going, whoo, all right.
Positively panting.
Yeah. Oh boy. There we go. And so now I guess we are to assume that Crumb does it even faster because we know that he is going to get him and Harry will eventually be tied for first.
Right.
Okay.
Yes. Yep. Let's see her. And yes, he's got the egg. Applause shattered the wintry air like breaking glass. Crumb had finished. It would be Harry's turn any moment.
He stood up, noticing dimly that his legs seemed to be made of marshmallow.
This was a trivia question we had once upon a time, and me and you were like, lead, like, I don't know, like anything else, but like
marshmallow.
I'm picturing him as like the Goodyear man.
Yeah,
right. No, yeah, is that what it is? Like
or the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, or the Goodyear guy.
The Goodyear guy.
Okay,
Like
yeah.
I like just sort of like waddling out, like
no.
big marshmallow legs.
Big marshmallow legs.
Yep. And then he heard the whistle blow. He walked out into the entrance of the tent, the panic rising into a crescendo inside him. And now he was walking past the trees through a gap in the enclosure fence.
A bit of a walk, actually.
It actually is kind of a walk.
Turns out, yeah.
So maybe Ludo did have enough time after Cedric's whistle to hoof it over there.
Yeah, he's like, oh no. Gotta get up there.
Made it just in time.
I like the idea that he's really huffing around.
Me too.
Oh man. And there was the horntail at the other end of the enclosure. It doesn't seem like there's even enough time to be like getting one dragon in and the next one out, know?
Not so much, yeah. It says it's crouched low over her eggs, her wings half furled, her evil yellow eyes upon him. A monstrous scaly black lizard thrashing her spiked tail. Where's our talon charm now?
I know,
I guess
right?
talons are more like finger claws, right?
Well, yeah, but I figure the spikes are probably made of the same thing as the talons.
I would be inclined to
if
think
only there was a spell to trim those things.
If only. If only.
If only. But there's not.
But there's not.
Harry does his one thing. Accio Firebolt! He shouted and then just sort of stands there.
I know. Yeah. This is one of those that I really just absolutely dislike the way that it's depicted in the movies. Like, it's like he's kind of being like thrashed about a little bit, and then like Hermione is like up in the stand. She's like, "Your wand, Harry! Your wand!"
Yeah,
and he's just like, "I'll say firebolt," and then like he like does other stuff.
Yeah,
and I'm like, for whatever reason in my mind, it's like he walks out on a rock and he's like standing tall and proud, like much more like an expecto patronum.
Dude, he should have opened with that, man.
Yeah.
Right, that would have been epic.
Hard agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Did they think about, like, what if we just cast the Patronus at it? What's it going to do then?
See what happens.
Could
be a good distraction, and if nothing else, a bunch of people might be impressed and start winking at him.
I know. People be like, whoa, wink, 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 wink.
Harry can hear eyelids closing.
There's enough horn dong to go around, guys. Come on. Oh, my gosh.
Parcel tongue, more like...
I can talk to dragons, you know. Oh, no.
Sorry. We can delete that. We could, yeah, I mean, anyway. And he heard it.
I agree. I think he stands out there and just like he immediately has his plan and just like, yes, big and proud.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Like, I mean, and I don't even hate a world where he like looks really, really small standing on like the rock from behind, but it's still epic. Like, you know, it's like you can sort of like see like the dragon's head like weaving on the other side. Like I can picture how this could look really, really cool. And like Harry is against like just unbeatable odds. But like still make it awesome. But instead it's just kind of like, it's kind of goofy the way that it normally shakes out. But anyway, here's how it is in the book. And then he heard it speeding through the air behind him. He turned and he saw his firebolt hurtling towards him around the edge of the woods, soaring into the enclosure and stopping dead in midair beside him, waiting for him to mount. I guess the one cool thing they do in the movies is he like almost like runs and jumps on it like while it's in motion.
Like motion. Yeah.
That is pretty
You know
cool.
what would have been really funny is if Crumbs came too. There's two firebolts.
Wait. Which one's mine?
And with a burst of inspiration, Harry started riding them like water skis.
Woo! This scene turns incredibly goofy very quickly.
Very quickly.
Yep. Bagman was shouting something, but Harry's ears were not working properly anymore. Listening wasn't important. He swung his leg over the broom and kicked off the ground, and a second later, something miraculous happened. As he soared upward, the wind rushed through his hair as the crowd's faces became mere flesh-colored pinpricks below, and the horntail shrank to the size of a dog. He realized that he had left not only the ground behind, but also his fear. He was back where he belonged.
Do you know what this like paragraph reminded me of a lot is actually when we are on tour with this show. Like when you kind of like when you're like there in the room with the crowd and like everyone's like interacting and stuff.
Yes.
And suddenly it's not even like you're doing the show. You're just like having fun all of a sudden.
You're right.
Yeah. Which is not to call the audience a dragon.
Or is it? No, but I do think you're right. Like, I mean, it's amazing to me how incredibly nervous I am every single time.
Yeah.
But then it's almost like even like sit in the chairs and it's like, because we do this so much, it's like, okay, now we're in it. Like
we're there.
Now we're in our firebolts.
Exactly.
That's what I'm naming my chair.
Oh, firebolt?
Firebolt.
Yeah.
What are you going to name yours?
Oh man, you already took firebolt.
I was going to say firebolt's taken.
Yeah. Firebolt 2001.
Dang it. Why didn't I think of that? Anyway, people are like, you guys literally just got to the most epic part of the chapter and then started making jokes.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you know how we do. So Harry looks down. He notices it feels like no coincidence either that he starts comparing it to a Quidditch match and he notices the golden egg. So it's sort of like, yep, just a snitch. There you go.
Right.
But then he dives. He knew what it was going to do, pulled out of the dive just in time, which this is another bit of like Harry's instincts on display here. Like he suddenly is like able to read the dragon just right. Knows where it's going to be. And then Mr. Bagman, who also played Quidditch, is like, great Scott, he can fly. Are you watching this, Mr. Crumb? So I just love the call out by Bagman there, just like being all impressed.
Yeah, no, that is pretty cool. Although I can only imagine how Crumb feels probably sitting there having just performed better than the two champions before him, and the commentator is like Crumb, I know you just fought your own dragon, but are you watching this kid go?
Are you watching?
Now he's impressive.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty much when Ron comes later. He's like, "You're not even going to believe this, Harry. Crumb didn't even think of flying."
Yeah, right. So he's kind of like weaving in and out, but the thing he seems to be up against that I guess we don't really know that any of the other champions do, but it seems like the horntail doesn't want to take off. It's too protective of her eggs.
Yeah,
and so it's like he's really need to find like a way to like lure her away from the situation so that he can kind of, you know, find his opening.
Yeah, but even that is like another bit of his instincts here. Like it's a very fast assessment of like what to do, because like I can very easily see a situation where like you gotta fly and then you get on the broom and it's like the dragon doesn't move and you're like, oh well, at least I'm on a broom.
Right. Yes.
What difference does it make really? But like he pretty quickly figures out what he needs to do. Like, oh, I have to lure it out of its protective position, get it to trick.
Yeah. Yes. Yep. Exactly. Yeah. Let's see here. And then this particular line I think is interesting. It says he flew higher. The horntail's head rose with him. Her neck now stretched out to its fullest extent, still swaying like a snake before its charmer. And it's like even that. I feel like that comparison.
Oh yes.
No mistake whatsoever.
No mistake at
like,
all.
You know, this is totally like Harry facing the imminent danger of Voldemort to come, and it's like,
yes,
here it is being compared to a snake. You know?
There it is. It's like, I mean, because I think it hits on a couple levels. You're right. Like it's this is very similar to like Voldemort's gaze and his obsession with Harry.
Yep.
Throughout the rest of the story, and then it says like still swaying like a snake, and it's like it has. Already we've established that Harry is able to like read what the dragon is going to do. He knows where it's going to blow the fire. He knows how he's going to lure it away. And it's like Harry can speak to snakes, and like in a couple of seconds, he's very quickly figured out how to like maneuver the dragon around.
You're absolutely right. Yeah. So I mean, now we've been making the joke, but maybe that horn tongue.
Maybe he did cast some horn tongue, man.
That's right. Yeah. Let's see here. Come on, Harry hissed, swerving tantalizingly.
Look, he's even literally talking to the dragon now.
Yes, exactly. Come on, come and get me. Up you get now. And then she reared, spreading her great black leathery wings as wide as those of a small airplane, and Harry dived.
Is it possible he actually is talking to the dragon?
I don't know. You're absolutely. I mean, we were kind of making like some jokes here and some comparisons and stuff, but there's no doubt about it that like it literally even says, "Come on, Harry hissed."
Whoa, you're right. Hissed, and it says, "Up you get now," and then she reared.
That's weird.
That is weird.
I don't know. I don't think I've ever caught this before.
Me neither. I mean, he never has any other real opportunity to talk to a dragon. I guess Norbert and the Ukrainian Iron Belly are the only other times he's around them. Norbert wouldn't be able to speak back because it's just a baby, I assume.
I would assume as well.
Right.
Yeah, most likely.
Or not that this dragon speaks back, but it compares it to a snake like
two sentences
ago. And then we're here. And then I wonder if there's anything with the Ukrainian Iron Belly at all.
Does he not relate to the Ukrainian Iron Belly in some way?
He certainly does, in that it's like trapped underground. And he's like trapped in the prophecy. It's like it's blind. Okay. Further research.
Yeah, that's an interesting one though. Yeah, that's like a real time like holy crap moment though.
Yeah.
So yeah. Anyway, Harry dived before the dragon knew what he had done or where he had disappeared to. He was speeding toward the ground as fast as he could toward the egg. Now unprotected by her clawed front legs, he had taken his hands off the firebolt and seized the golden egg.
Boom.
Yeah. Which I mean, this is almost even like a little bit reminiscent to me of his first Quidditch match. Like he's taking both hands off.
I know. I'm trying to picture how he would even do this. Like both hands are off the fire, but then he's grabbing something out of the air. This time he's grabbing something off the ground. Like, how are you taking both hands off and grabbing it off the ground? Like, I'm trying to just imagine like what this looks like.
Yeah, I know. It does seem like it would be really difficult to enact this. Yeah, I'm not exactly sure. With the huge show of speed, though, he was off and was soaring out over the stands, the heavy egg safely under his uninjured arm, and it was as though somebody had just turned the volume back up.
Yeah.
For the first time, he became properly aware of the noise of the crowd, which was screaming and applauding as loudly as the Irish supporters of the World Cup.
Bam. I love that. It was though someone turned the volume back up. It's like the relief is there. Like, I did it.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Yep.
Yeah. And then look at that. Would you look at that? Our youngest champion is quickest to get his egg. Well, this is going to shorten the odds on Mr. Potter.
Which I wrote in crap.
Yeah. Oh no. Like, oh no. He did too good too fast.
Too good too fast. We need to do this more of a rollout.
But he can't help but like slipping it in because that's what he really cares about. You know?
Right. Yes. Yeah. Yes, of course. But yeah, it's funny if the odds are right there on the top of his mind.
Yes.
Which even that I feel like is again like one of those where it's like you could potentially build the case in your head. I mean, it would be very difficult to do so, but like the fact that he's bringing up the odds or like that Harry's like the real underdog and that he was collecting bets from, Fred and George at the Quidditch World Cup. Like you could be piecing these things together.
You could be, I suppose. Well, this is going to shorten the odds on Mr. Potter. Speaking of which, does anyone want to take any of those bets?
Yes,
I'm collecting right now.
While I have you.
You stay put, I'll come to you.
Play plenty of energy left.
Yeah.
Let's see here. But then Harry sees the smiles of Professor McGonagall, Professor Moody, and Hagrid hurrying to meet him. "That was excellent, Potter!" cried Professor McGonagall as he got off the firebolt, which was...
Can't help but notice that Miss Pomona Sprout's not checking in on Cedric.
Yeah, where's Sprout?
Where is Sprout?
Sprout, she's oddly like missing from this whole
She's like, I've got a flutterby bush here that's about to bloom once a century.
And they're like, guys, it's been a century since the last time we had one of these tournaments. So like, I don't want to say like one's more important than the other, but you do have a champion in there, you know. So there's that.
Yep. Yeah, that's true. Oh, man. That was excellent, Potter. You'll need to see Madame Pomfrey before the judges give out your score. It's like, I don't think that's happened to anyone else so far, right? They haven't like gone and gotten cleaned up and then come back out and got the score. It sounded like, oh, they've got it. Whistle.
Yeah, right.
Whistle.
Let's see here. Then Hagrid is sort of like, you did it, and against the Horntail and all. You know, Charlie said he was the worst. And it's like, Hagrid.
Don't blow it, man.
We're about to get our points, man. Let's get those first.
Let's get those first, right?
Yep. And
then Moody, nice and easy does the trick, Potter.
Yep.
Let's
see here. Madame Pomfrey standing at the mouth of the second tent looking worried. "Dragon," she said in a disgusted tone. Like, you could tell that she is like, this is the stupidest thing ever. Why are we doing it?
Why would we do this? Disgusted tone. Last year Dementors, this year dragons. What are they going to bring to the school next? Well, good answer. Just in case you're wondering, Madame Pomfrey, what they're going to bring is a giant and a toad.
Yeah. Yes, indeed.
Yes.
I also think this is kind of funny though, because at the end of last year, there was, we talked about like how this was a little bit of foreshadowing, but like, I think that someone says like, who will we get to like guard the entrance now? Like maybe dragons. And Dumbledore was like, Hagrid would like that.
Yes.
You know? And it's like, it is fun. It's like, here it is.
Yeah.
It's like last year was Dementor. This year is dragons.
There it is. Dragons. Boom. Yep. Still, you think Umbridge is worse?
I think Umbridge is worse. Yeah, she's worse. Yeah,
no doubt. Yep. But so Harry's down there. He's getting patched up. Cedric is in there as well. He also being mopped up. He doesn't want to sit still. And in comes Hermione, followed closely by Ron. Yay!
About time. "Harry, you were brilliant," Hermione said squeakily. "You were amazing. You really were."
Little heart next to that one.
Yeah. And then she winked.
And then she winked.
But Harry was looking at Ron, who was very white and staring at Harry as though he were a ghost. "Harry," he said very seriously, "whoever put your name in that goblet, I reckon they're trying to do you in." It was as though the last few weeks had never happened. As though Harry were meeting Ron for the first time right after he'd been made champion.
Caught on, have you?
Yeah, so it's like Harry, it's like even in this moment, it's funny like the order in which these things happen, because it's like Harry is feeling the relief of Ron's friendship instantly.
Yes.
But he still has like one line.
Yeah.
You know, he's like he's still gonna be like, "Took you long enough." And then like Ron is about to like open his mouth to apologize, and then Harry's like, "It's okay. Forget it." "No," said Ron. "I should have." "Forget it," Harry said. Ron grinned nervously, and Harry grinned back. Hermione burst into tears. "There's nothing to cry about," Harry told her, bewildered.
"You two are so stupid."
I can only imagine what this is like from our perspective.
Oh my gosh. I circled that and it was like facts.
Yeah. So annoying.
I know. I love that she runs off. And I do love this, that Ron immediately slides into a joke and is just like fucking mad.
Yeah.
It's like immediately it's like, can you believe Hermione?
It's like we haven't talked to each other for like 3 whole weeks, but her,
look at this.
Proper ridiculous.
Yeah.
"You were the best, you know. No competition. Cedric did this weird thing where he transfigured a rock on the ground to turn it into a dog. He was trying to make the dragon go for the dog instead of him. Well, it was a pretty good bit of transfiguration, and it sort of worked because he did get the egg, but he got burned as well."
Yeah. So, but if we're keeping track then, so we know that Harry and Crumb are going to be tied for first, and then Fleur does it faster than Cedric. So by my count, Cedric is in last place now.
I believe so.
Yeah.
Is that not right?
I mean, I'm just trying to make sure.
Yeah. Okay. I think you're right.
That would. Who's the real champion now? Cedric.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see here. Fleur tried to do some sort of charm. It was trying to put it in a trance, which, like, you know, it feels very like fitting that sort of like Vila like characteristic.
It does. Yes. Yep. You're right.
It went all sleepy, but then it snored. A great jet of flame shot out and her skirt caught fire. She put it out with a bit of water out of her wand. And Crumb, you won't believe this. He didn't even think of flying. He was probably best after you, though. Hit it with some sort of spell right in the eye. Only thing is, it went trampling around in agony and squashed half the real eggs. They took marks off that. He wasn't supposed to do any damage to them.
It sounds to me like Flora did the next best. She just got hit by like a random snore.
Exactly. Yeah. Like she did a pretty good job of actually like, putting it down and not causing any damage and all the rest. I agree with you. Yeah. It sounds like Flora did the best.
But she doesn't get the points for it.
Right.
Yeah.
It's marks out of 10 from each one, Ron said, as they're looking up at the judges. Madame Maxine is going to do a large figure 8. Not bad, said Ron as the crowd applauded. I suppose she took off marks for her shoulder. Mr. Crouch came next. He shot a number 9 into the air. This one is just worth mentioning that chances are you've got the Imperious Curse in play.
Absolutely, the Imperious Curse is in play. So this is like the 9 is it is as good as he can possibly give to give Harry the biggest head start he can without being suspicious.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep. Looking good, Ron yelled, thumping Harry on the back. Next, Dumbledore, he too put up a 9, which I think, it seems like all the schools maybe are kind of favoring their own champions at least a little bit.
Yeah.
And then we get to Ludo Bagman, 10.
Yeah. Sus. Yeah.
10, said Harry in disbelief. Disbelief. But I got hurt. What's he playing at?
Yeah.
And it's like, Ron makes a good point. Harry, don't complain.
Right. Exactly.
And then Karkaroff raised his wand. He paused for a moment, and then a number shot out of his wand too. 4.
Yeah. Which honestly, pretty quick math for him.
Oh, like he's trying to figure out like what he needs.
Oh yeah, that's what his pause is. He's trying to make sure that Harry's not beating Crumb.
Exactly.
But there's no denying that Harry did better than Crumb, but he's like, meh.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yep. Yeah. And it kind of works out like reasonably well because you will eventually know that like Ludo is also kind of pulling strings here. So like his 10 is probably a little inflated and maybe Mr. Crouch's is like a 9 instead of like what would have been like an 8.
Maybe.
So like maybe Madame Maxine is like really giving like the fairest score here.
Right. I mean, I'd like to think Dumbledore's is pretty honest.
I guess that's fair.
Yeah.
Maybe an 8.5.
Maybe 8.5, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah, split
it
the
does
difference.
seem like the way they do this, they shouldn't go in order like this. They should all just go at the same time.
True, absolutely.
So that the sort of point fixing that Karkaroff is doing cannot happen.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep. Let's see here. But yeah, so Harry didn't care at all though about what Karkaroff did. Ron's indignation on his behalf was worth about 100 points to him. And I love that too, because it's just sort of like at the end of the day, I totally get this as well. It's like you want the approval of the people you care about. Like, and that's what he's got back. That's what he hasn't had. So it's like that is what he values the most.
Yes, but even that, he says, and it wasn't just Ron, though. Those weren't just Gryffindors cheering in the crowd. When it come to it, when they'd seen what he was facing, most of the school had been on his side, as well as Cedric's. He didn't care about the Slytherins. He could stand whatever they threw at him now. And then you find out that him and Crumb are tied for first place. And yeah, so I guess Cedric's in last at this point, but he will shoot up. He's going to shoot up from last to tied for first as of the second task.
As of the second task, yeah. Because he's the first one back.
He's the first one back, and he's right at an hour.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see here. So then Charlie comes over, lets us know that Harry is tied in first place with Crumb, but he needs to go and tell Molly what happened right away. And apparently Ludo Bagman needs to talk to them again back in the champions tent. This time it actually seems a little bit like Ludo is following through with what he's supposed to be doing as like the program administrator or whatever, where he lets us know when the next task is going to take place, and that he also explains the golden eggs and how they have hinges and they need to like solve the clue inside, and that's like going to let them know like what the second task is and enable them to prepare for it. And he's like, "Oh, good, then off you go."
Yeah.
So this is like way more information after the fact than what it seems like they're given before the event.
It really does. And the second task, in case you're writing it down, is at 9:30 a.m. on February 24th, 1995.
There you go.
You go.
Keeping track, which is also kind of interesting because this one was on November 24th.
Right.
So there's a big 24th
boom. Yeah.
situation.
Yeah.
I wonder if the third task is like May 24th.
Is the Yule Ball on Christmas or is it on Christmas Eve?
That's a good question.
Mm-hmm.
I think
I think it's on Christmas.
I think it's on Christmas.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. Let's see here. Then Rita Skeeter pops out of nowhere. This time she is wearing the acid green robes, which I think we talked about last time that's like, it's definitely what they went for in the movies and definitely what I picture as well. So this time she is like film accurate for this particular scene. She's got the quick quotes quill ready and she's like, congratulations, Harry. I wonder if you could give me a quick word. How you felt facing that dragon? How do you feel now about the fairness of the scoring? Yeah, you can have a word, said Harry savagely. Goodbye.
Yeah. So that's a bit of an oops on Harry because she's going to turn on him from this moment forward.
Yes.
But like what's interesting though is that how you feel now about the fairness of the scoring. So the angle she's actually going for here is to try and smear Karkaroff.
True.
Because he's the one not doing fair scoring.
Exactly. Clearly.
Yeah. So it's almost a shame he doesn't talk to her.
I know. It's like, like the person Sirius was super concerned about, like almost just got put like under the radar.
Exactly.
And this actually, like is going to deter that particular outcome. But either which way, I can't say I disagree with Harry basically just being dismissive of her. It's like she's already caused him a lot of like, distress.
A lot of distress and all that. So it's not surprising that he treats her like this, but it is interesting to me that her next angle wasn't to attack Harry, it was to attack Karkaroff.
Yes. Yeah. Of course. I think that's the important thing to point out. But with that being said, it brings us to the end of chapter 20. And Jay, do you have a review for us today?
Well, I sure do. Give me a second here. I'll pull it right on up. This is going to be from Bible Lover.
Oh,
there
okay.
You go. I know. Although it has no religious
no associations.
That's just their name. Hey, brother, love the podcast. Question, is it possible that Wormtail was actually the first person to go to the Potter's house? In Goblet, Voldemort asks for his robes and his wand, which Pettigrew gives him. And there's no way Sirius, Dumbledore, Hagrid, or even Snape was like, hey, Voldemort's wand, let's just leave this very important thing here for reasons. Pretty sure the Ministry won't be needing this. So this is like when she said that Wormtail go back first, she means to the Potter's house to get Voldemort's wand.
Cool, man. It's terrible to think about a situation where he would show up, see all of the wreckage, see baby Harry.
Right. Understand that Voldemort had fallen and still not help Harry.
It's like, goodness gracious, you are just absolutely terrible. We have made a video about how Voldemort got his wand back before.
We did,
have we not?
We have made this video.
And I believe that, well, I'm trying to think because I know that like in the films at the very least, during the Prince's Tale memory, we see Snape going back to the house.
Yeah, that doesn't canonically happen at all.
Okay. So that's okay. I was going to say, because at the very least that would be, well, that's always another one of those situations where even like if you only watch the movies, it's kind of like, you mean Snape showed up, hugged dead Lily, saw baby Harry injured in his crib, and then left. That which if you're following what this question's asking would almost mean that like Wormtail showed up, saw dead Lily James, alive Harry, took the wand, left. Then Snape showed up, saw dead Lily, Harry, hugged the dead body, left Harry, left. Yes.
Then Sirius showed up. Saw Harry, thought about taking him. Then Hagrid showed up and said,
actually
give Harry to me.
Young Sirius Black.
Yes. So it turns out the Potter's house, just a happening place.
Yes.
For a place that apparently could not be found for months.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Suddenly everyone knows where it is.
A lot of traffic going through.
Yeah. But that's not what happens.
Okay. Do you have a recollection of what we explained in our video?
I do. So we reasoned out that the two that there is like a off-page explanation that Peter is the one who goes to get the wand, or that Peter gets the wand and returns it to Voldemort.
Okay.
But when he does it is not clear. So does he either do it the night Voldemort falls before everyone else starts showing up? Because it seems like pretty obviously, like if anyone found the wand, like Dumbledore or Hagrid or Sirius or the Ministry, like they would want the murder weapon. They would want Voldemort, and no one's just going to leave it there because, like, we obviously know they like, and the wand is going to be right next to like Lily's body at the very least, anyway.
Right.
Because, and we know they moved Lily and James's bodies to the graveyard in Godric's Hollow. So clearly, people have been there. They've taken the bodies out. The wand, if spotted, isn't just going to be left laying in the ruins for 13 years.
Right.
But if that's the case, that Peter got it, then it means like he's had it the whole time. Like, was Voldemort's wand like with him at the Weasleys the entire time? Were they housing Voldemort's wand?
That would be insane.
That would be insane. The big problem with this one though is that it would mean that like Peter had the after they transform him back into himself, like in the Shrieking Shack.
Yep.
Then there's a moment where he has to reach for Lupin's wand to transform himself back into a rat.
Okay.
But if he had Voldemort's wand with him the whole time, he wouldn't need to reach for someone else's wand. He could
could just use that one.
Right. Other possibility though is that then the only other time he would go searching for it is after he escapes that night. And our reasoning was like, well, that seems so unlikely because someone else just would have picked it up by then.
Right.
So how could it still be there? There's no way it's still there. So how could it all make sense that Peter gets it and whatnot? And so what we came up with in the video that seemed like it made sense is that Snape is never there. That's just like a movie thing.
Okay.
Meaning Sirius is the first person there and that he is too distraught to notice anything except the death of his friends.
Which makes sense.
Yeah. Hagrid shows up. He finds Harry and that he is the one who actually finds the wand, picks it up, realizes Dumbledore will want this or whatever.
Right.
Pockets that as well.
Okay.
Then he brings Harry to the Dursleys with Dumbledore. They all exit. And then that Dumbledore does in fact, examine the wand because Dumbledore knows exactly what the wand is, and then he knows the wand is of importance as well because the twin cores and stuff like that.
Right.
But that he decides that Hagrid should be the one protecting the wand, like in his hut. Because one, it's like no one would ever think that such a item would be in Hagrid's hut.
Right.
It's like a very good hiding in plain sight kind of situation.
Right.
Because Hagrid's hut is also just covered in other sorts of rare, valuable things or whatever.
Right.
This random thing. But also there's like a little bit of irony attached to it where the reason Hagrid's own wand is been snapped is because Tom Riddle framed him for killing Moaning Myrtle.
Right.
So the reason Hagrid doesn't have a wand is because Voldemort framed him. So how ironic that Hagrid should be the one to now have Voldemort's wand.
Right. But then where do we ultimately find Peter?
Yes.
Like after he runs away from the castle.
Yeah. So when he fakes his death, when everyone thinks Crookshanks ate Peter and he fakes his death, he actually runs down to Hagrid's cabin where he's hiding out for a couple of weeks, if not like a month or something.
Yeah, for a while.
A good long while. So he's just a rat in a cabin and he's stumbling around. And what is on earth does he find? Voldemort's wand, which he's like, wow, oh my God, this is such a discovery. Then when he flees, what he does is he flees down to Hagrid's cabin, which is empty because Hagrid is drunk and he walked back up to the castle. He takes the wand and returns to Voldemort, and that's his peace offering because Voldemort would otherwise be pretty mad at Peter for giving him the information that led to his downfall.
Yep.
But at least now he's bringing him back his wand. So that was our explanation for where Peter gets the wand.
Yeah, I mean, I think that even makes a lot of sense too, because it would be like such a missing link. And Voldemort has otherwise, I mean, he's been able to manipulate Quirrell before, but then he had like another fully trained wizard capable of, he could essentially manipulate into becoming like his host for a period of time, which we know he's also doing with other creatures in the forest. They don't make very good hosts for very long because they can't manage to possess his soul for very long. So then it would be kind of interesting because it's sort of like, then all of a sudden it's like you've given Voldemort back something that might help him restore his own rudimentary body.
Yes.
And that is of course what we know happens in the summer between Prisoner of Azkaban and Goblet of Fire when they've made it to the Riddle household.
Yeah.
Yes. Bam. Okay.
So there you go.
That's our best guess.
That's our best guess.
And we know Hagrid was there.
We know Hagrid was there.
Yeah.
Like the only confirmed people we know that went to the house on the night were Sirius and Hagrid.
Right.
Probably, obviously, other people came there eventually, but yeah. But we know that Peter hid out in Hagrid's house, and it feels like, I guess it's possible, like he went there first, got the wand, hid it somewhere else, then went on the run.
I mean, it's always possible.
I mean,
there's a lot of like moving parts and things that are happening inside of an evening where you also have to keep in mind that like there's not text messaging. Like it would be so easy to just think it was any other night.
Yeah.
Like, it's hard to know
Right.
everything that's going on.
Right.
Or
exactly.
how anybody in all these different locations is figuring out, like, wait a second, something happened.
Right. Like, and Peter would have no reason to go to the Potters, that night.
I mean, shy of a world where Voldemort shared that piece of his plan with him, but I'm pretty sure that Voldemort has known about the location of the Potters for a period of time before attacking.
Yeah.
Because that's a fundamental piece of he's searching for the Sword of Gryffindor theory.
Doesn't have it yet theory. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. To make the final Horcrux,
Exactly.
get the final Founder's object. So,
Yeah.
Okay, man, great question. Great question.
Great question.
But I think that'll do it for today.
That will do it for today. So thank you, as always, so much for listening to this episode. Make sure you join us next week for Chapter 21, The House Elf Liberation Front, here on Through the Gryffindor.
Today's episode was edited by Ethan Edghill. Vaishon Brandon does our art. Catherine Stein is our production manager, and the show is hosted by me and Jonathan Carlin.